and Justice Thomas and Bruin relied heavily on Justice Scalia's opinion in Heller, correct?
That's absolutely correct.
And one of the things that Justice Scalia focused on in Heller was that the Second Amendment is comprised of two clauses, a prefatory clause and an operative clause, correct?
Correct.
And the prefatory clause is, quote, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, close quote, correct?
Close.
That's the prefatory clause. When you say close, have I missed it somewhere?
No, I think that's a close.
Okay.
I think that's
Sure.
a close quote.
Okay.
I don't know its exact, but
Well, the full Second
it's
Amendment
close.
says a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, comma, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed, correct?
Absolutely.
And you understand that what the Second Amendment was doing was not creating a right, but rather codifying a pre-existing right, correct?
Correct.
And in Heller, Justice Scalia said that based on the prefatory clause, it's clear that the weapons that the Second Amendment had in mind and that the framers had in mind were weapons that were commonly in use at the time, correct?
That's correct.
And so he very specifically said that the kinds of weapons that one has an individual right to own are the same kinds of weapons used in the militia, correct?
I'm not sure that he dug into that.
Okay,
I'm not
well-
sure he went that far.
Well, I mean, I can quote from the opinion, section 3 of his opinion.
I think he was talking about muskets. If
Well, do you agree, Detective Rausch, that the Second Amendment protects one's right to carry semi-automatic pistols in public?
it does say that people can carry a handgun.
I asked a more specific question. I mean, do you agree that under the Second Amendment, citizens have a right to carry a semi-automatic pistol in public?
Absolutely.
And your position is somehow we're supposed to read the Second Amendment to provide that a citizen can carry a semi-automatic handgun into public, but not a semi-automatic rifle. Is that correct?
What I'm saying is there's a difference, yes.
And you will agree there's nothing in the language of the Second Amendment to support the distinction that you're making.
It's
Isn't
not
that true?
there's not anything specific in the Second Amendment that says yes or no to this, right? The rulings of the court is what gives us guidance on what can and cannot fall under the Second Amendment. And so I would say that based on the rulings of the court, you still have the authority as a state, we still have the authority to limit what is carried. And that's the point that was made in Bruin and the point that's made in Heller.
Well, how do you deal, Director Rausch, with the language from Justice Scalia and Heller that states specifically that the Second Amendment protects the rights of citizens to bear and carry the types of weapons that one commonly used in the militia at the time that the Second Amendment was adopted?
So again, we're talking about muskets. And so if we're talking about allowing people to carry muskets on the street, I guess if you want to do that, I would be open to that. But keep in mind that a musket is much different than an auto or semi-auto fired rifle, and that the ability, so that the types of firearms have changed dramatically. I think you can agree over the years, and the law as interpreted, the amendment as interpreted by the Supreme Court takes that into consideration as well and gives guidance on that.